Welcome again to Revero Success Stories. Today I'm speaking with Cindy, who's going to share with all of us about her experience on carnivore diet. Hi, Cindy.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for taking the time to share with us about your experience with the carnivore diet. Can I ask you, what were you eating before you came upon carnivore diet?
Right. Actually, right before carnivore, I was on keto briefly, lectin-free. And before that was just high, as the doctors and other diet recommendations, which is like high grain, low fat, low protein. That's what, it was basically on for a while. And a while back, I was also a vegetarian for 7 years.
So so grains and nuts and seeds and whole food.
Yes.
Well, and so when you went from keto to carnivore, what was that experience like for you?
Well, I got on lectin-free keto based on a lot of research that I did. And within probably weeks, I would say maybe a few months, I felt better, a lot better. I was very fatigued. I have autoimmune problems, main one being lupus, SLE, and it affects my nervous system, basically peripheral nerves, which make me a lot weaker to grab things and to walk. I could not walk for that far. And also it affects my autonomic nerve, which regulates the blood pressure, heart, breathing. So all of that, was affected. So, and when I got on this keto lectin-free diet, I did feel better. Felt like I had some energy, some more energy. But what happened is then when I continued doing research, and then I found out about oxalates. And I was like, whoa, not just lectins, now oxalates. I already cut out a lot of fruits and vegetables, and I loved fruits and vegetables. And when I understood more about oxalate, I said, oh my God, I was just basically went on the internet more like sarcastically, asking, can I just eat meat only, And then that's how I found out about the carnivore diet. And I was like, wow, actually people are doing this. And it's just fascinating. And I just really took a deep dive into it, and after understood more, I had enough courage to, okay, I'm going to try meat only. And, having the autoimmune problems for a long time, it's crazy because whatever you read, it's telling you don't eat meat. Meat is you'll have more inflammation. So basically, well, I was a vegetarian for a while, and that actually, my health was getting worse and worse every year. I was a vegetarian for 7 years. And when it got worse every year, I was taking more medication. I started to have new diagnoses and everything. And I was just basically thinking that I was just getting older. And so just sicker. And,
Yeah, what's the kind of medications that you're on with lupus?
Prednisone,
Yes.
which I was on for 30 years.
Steroids, okay.
Yeah, and I could not reduce it because every time I reduced to about 30, then symptoms came up. And so then the medicine went up, and then you have to taper down again. The objective is to get to 0, but I could never get below 30.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was on a lot of medication, over 20 of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was that first week like when you just ate meat?
Well, I did not really like meat at the time. So when I started eating more meat, I was surprised that I felt more satisfied. I was hungry, or I was a carb person, basically. Fruits, vegetables, carb type vegetables and stuff like that. And having a lot of meat, and I was still kind of like, something has to be bad about this. There's this still lingering knowledge and belief that meat was bad.
Yeah.
And so I was still in doubt, eating meat all along, and but I felt really good eating it because I felt more satisfied. I was like I'm now no longer hungry every hour or 2 hours. So I can basically go without snack and food for 5-6 hours. I still eat 3 meals though now.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, when I switched from keto to carnivore, there was a definite jump in the feeling better and healthier inside, from inside out. And I was having all these kind of autoimmune problems. I was very fatigued, and the fatigue was really bad. It's like, we live in the apartments where at one point they had this fire alarm, false alarm came up quite a bit. And I was lying down watching TV, and then the alarm came up. I said, oh, I don't know if this one is a real one or is a fake one, And I was just so tired, thinking that if there's a real fire, I'm just gonna lie down here and it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So you just were so exhausted to the
yeah.
When did you start noticing that you could remove some of your medication with your physician? Or
Well, I think the very first thing that started to go down is prednisone, because I relied on prednisone so much, and to help fighting with fatigue and some other symptoms that surfaced up. And so I started to reduce slowly. And when I try to, I was actually on a pretty high dosage, medium to high dosage, most of my 30 years of taking prednisone. And when I started to reduce to about 30, then other symptoms and new symptoms came up. So I had to do it very slowly. But with carnivore, I felt stronger. I felt at the time, like I started to feel that I can reduce more. So I started doing that, and I felt fine reducing it, and no new symptoms came up, and eventually went down to 0.
oh, great. So you don't have to, you're not taking any prednisone now?
No, and I was taking, I'm carnivore now for 1 year and 9 months, and I was taking about 20 something different kinds of medication for all kinds of symptoms. And then, you're taking one, the doctor give another because of the side effects. And then, there's another side effects.
Yeah, so terrible. And so you could just sort of start to eliminate all of them.
Yes. Not right now. I'm like at about 6 different types, which I still rely on, especially the one that have to bring up my blood pressure because because of the autonomic nerve was also affected by this autoimmune. So it's dysautonomia. And so I have to take the blood pressure medicine to bring up my blood pressure. Otherwise,
does it also affect the heart?
Well, I have also a heart condition, like a defect got it from my dad,
Like arrhythmia or something?
Yeah, it's regurgitating valve, yeah.
How did you discover that?
When I started feeling some kind of like a flutter, and when I went to see a doctor, and when they did the ultrasound, and then they said that I have regurgitating bowel, which is like basically it couldn't pump the whole blood, and
into the 4 chambers.
Right.
One of them's not doing the right timing or something.
Right.
So did they say that you had to take the medication, or it would hurt your heart, or what was the?
Yeah, at the time with that, they gave me ingrown to help regulate somewhat. And then later on, I was diagnosed with dysautonomia, which then my heart can just beat at 40 times per minute or 150 per minute while I'm sitting,
Yeah.
So then they have to kind of trying to balance that medicine, and then have to give me another medicine to bring up the blood pressure. And
yes, so they didn't want to do any surgeries or stents. They just wanted to do this with medicines.
Yeah, I wouldn't need a stent. Actually, talk about being on carnivore. I got my CAT scan done after a year, and my CAT scan score is 0. Yeah, with the heart regurgitating valve, basically the valve is as you get older, it gets weaker, so it doesn't pump, and closed all the way. So your blood leaked down. So basically it's not getting oxygen. And so if it gets really weak and more volume loss, they can do some kind of surgery to kind of tighten up the muscle. But I have to say that like carnivore helped me in this, because now I'm exercising. Now I'm doing weightlifting, and
so the whole heart muscle is stronger, you feel?
Yes, definitely.
So you have less of that arrhythmia.
But yes.
Interesting, very interesting. Let me just ask you, what are you eating? What kind of meat? Are you eating beef and ruminants, or are you eating pork, chicken? What are you eating?
Oh, this is a funny part, because at the beginning, I'm like, oh my God, I can only eat meat. What am I gonna do? So I bought chicken, duck. I ordered like directly from farm, right? So pork, duck, beef, lamb, anything that they sell, I ordered, And because I thought I'm gonna get bored eating meat only, so I have to
eating just beef.
Right. And and eat eggs and bacon, so that was at the beginning, but it lasted only 3 weeks that I tried to eat chicken and everything else, and somehow I just gravitate toward beef only, and now I only eat beef.
Yes.
And I'm not tired yet.
Yeah, no, beef, no, ruminant meat is really amazing. You know, it's a different fat profile for one thing, and many other things. But do you also eat, you said eggs, do you also eat dairy food, milk or cheese?
Well, I'm lactose intolerant, so I don't touch cheese or milk at all. But I do still have coffee, so I use half and half, but it's lactose free.
Mhm. So
But
you,
only one cup a day. I'm still trying to quit coffee, and probably would be better.
maybe, I mean, it seems like a lot of people get benefits from it, so it's hard to say
Yeah.
about coffee. Um, well, that sounds really, so it sounds like it's a really simple diet now.
Yes, and shopping is very easy.
Yeah.
Cooking is easy.
Yeah. Do you cook like organ meat?
Organ meat, because I'm like my nose is very sensitive. I can smell things from far away. I don't love liver, but now I do eat. But I do notice that well, I can eat liver now, but I eat the liver chip, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do notice that when I have that the night before, next day I feel more energetic.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. It does seem to have that reaction for people. Yeah. Well, that's great. So you include some liver, and then did I hear you say you included eggs?
Yes, yes.
Right. And do you still eat pork, bacon?
I eat bacon, eggs and bacon is just a kind of staples in the morning. And well, this is one thing that I don't know if people experienced or not, but the first 6 months that I was on carnivore, I was eating basically a ribeye for lunch and ribeye for dinner.
Yeah.
Breakfast is, 5 eggs and bacon. So I was like trying to calculate, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm eating like 2.5 pounds a day of meat. But I kept losing weight. But then I don't know if I lost weight is because of the prednisone. Because when you take prednisone, you gain weight. I gained like about 30 pounds
Yeah. Of
total.
course. Yeah.
Yeah, from prednisone, yeah. And so I lost all that now, and it very fast. I was eating 2.5 pounds of beef, reducing prednisone, and my weight kept coming down so fast that I was scared. I was like, I told my doctor, you got to check because I kept losing a lot of weight and I was eating a lot. But however, after 6 months, I could not eat 2.5 pounds a day anymore. Just 1.5 pounds average. Yeah.
Maybe your metabolism slows down a little bit.
Maybe, yeah.
So now you're still eating 3 meals a day. So you're still eating, and you're still probably eating ribeye.
Yes.
So you just have smaller meals.
Well, my lunch, I'm not really hungry at lunch now. I'm thinking about doing intermittent fasting. So move my breakfast like later in the day instead of 6 o'clock in the morning, and then have dinner. So lunch now, I'm basically, I feel like I have to force eat my, the meal.
Are you trying to lose weight?
Oh, no, not at all. And well, I'm actually trying to gain weight, gain muscle, gain weight.
I don't know, intermittent fasting, I don't know if that helps you gain weight, but.
Oh, yeah, but because I'm not hungry,
Yeah,
like
I understand.
all along from this, from the very beginning of the carnivore diet, I eat until I'm full.
Yes.
So it's been like that, and but then later at lunch I'm not hungry, but I'm still eating, and because in the past, I did skip certain meal before because of the test, medical test that I have to do. And it put back my health, like I really like, it's like a 10 step back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm kind of a little bit more careful about doing that until I'm really, really feel that I'm confident and I'm strong enough to do. Yeah.
You shared with me a little bit about that you do have to take MRIs annually,
Yeah.
and that you noticed an interesting thing about plaque that maybe you could share with us.
Yes. Well, about over 10 years ago, I had, some problems and some blood tests didn't look right. So one of my doctors then say, oh, maybe we should take a look at your pituitary. So she sent me to get an MRI of pituitary. And so they found that I had tumors, and the type was called adenoma, microadenoma tumors. And so every year, I had to get an MRI to just look at the tumors, if they grow, how fast they grow, and the thing that they were really watching is the fact that because it's a pituitary and it's in the middle in there, and so the tumor grows toward the optic nerve. So if it grows big enough and press the optic nerve, I can go blind instantly. So like I was told, if you started seeing like a tunnel vision, you're gonna have to go to the emergency room and get an operation. So every year they've been looking at the tumors, and they grow new ones. About 4 or 5 years ago, they grew a new kind, which is meningioma. And then because they're looking at my brain, they also see plaque, white matter, from T2 type, and it's like one thing after the other. And I was trying to do research and understand about the white matter. And what I understood was that, oh, well, you get older, you get it. It's just gonna grow bigger area as you get older. And that's why people have dementia and Alzheimer's. So, and I tried to look everywhere. What can I eat to make it better? What can I do? Are there herbs? Are there, but there was nothing. So every year, this white matter also kind of scattered in different areas. And I knew that it affected my memory. And also, if you ask people who have lupus, they're going to say that it affected their memory. They forget things, and like for me, there was one time I had to fill out a form, and it asked me for my birthday, and I'm like just blank, totally blank, and it was scary. And it's not like a permanent memory. Later on, then you remember.
Like brain fog kind of thing.
Yes. And every day, talk about brain fog, every day I had very heavy, foggy head. I don't have any more now, so thank God. But with this white matter, when I was on carnivore keto for about probably 8 months, I was due for MRI. I kind of expected to see improvements, right? Because, and also understanding from several doctors, and especially Dr. Paul Mason, who's talking about lectins affecting the white, the brain and white matter and all that. So I kind of expected the improvement, but the MRI came out, and then my doctor said, there's not even one white speck, one white dot, there's nothing. There's no longer white matter on my brain.
So it was
And
completely gone. It was completely gone.
completely gone.
That's great.
And besides, one type of the tumors, adenoma, also were gone.
That's great.
And they were shocked. I have two neurologists, my general neurologist and the optic for optic nerve, neurologist. And then they both actually, when they saw the MRI result, they were like, "What did you do?"
So did you share that, what you did with them?
Yes. So I said, well, I didn't want to tell you before because you're going to think I was crazy, but I'm on this special diet. What is that? Carnivore. They were like, what? What is that? So.
That's great. That's fantastic. Yeah. It's so wonderful to hear people's results with it like that.
Yeah, and I bet a lot of people who are on carnivore and felt great and say that they can think better, it's clearer, and they're sharper and all of that. If they actually have the MRI before and after, they probably will see some physical improvement.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So you said that you felt more energy. So are you doing more things?
Yes.
And people who've known you with lupus are probably like, oh, surprised.
Well, yeah, I basically was sleeping a lot. I couldn't get up until 1 o'clock, and got up to eat, to take medicine, and went back to sleep.
Yeah.
And if I had to go out, I kind of like, I felt like dragging 1,000 pounds with me, but soon when I was on this diet, I would say within weeks, I felt like, oh, now it's 800 pounds. Now it's 500 pounds. Now is,
Yeah, that's great.
But I'm not saying, well, not 0 pounds yet, even some 1 year and some months later, but I would say I'm pretty healthy. Not like a healthy person, but I definitely can get up. I got up now at 5, at 6 in the morning. I exercise, I lift weights. I still, if I'm tired, I rest, but I recover faster. Before that, even if I went out to see my doctors, so I have to try to get see my 2 or 3 doctors at the same time in the same tie-in. And when I came back home, it's like I need a week or 2 to recover, to get up and do things.
That sounds great. Do you and you're eating mostly beef now?
Yes.
And eggs. And you have a cup of coffee in the morning, and you usually have 3 meals, but you're feeling less and less hunger for that. So it sounds like do you think you're going to proceed with that with that diet?
You mean carnivore?
Yeah, or this type of carnivore, or just, it sounds like it's working for you. So do you have cravings for anything else, or is this good for you?
It's too good to quit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, that's great. Are you cooking other meats like oxtail or gelatinous meats or stews? Or
I like to venture into some of the organ parts, because I heard beef tongue is really delicious.
It is, yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So gonna try to slowly try to explore. But once in a while, like maybe once a week, if that, I would add like one type of vegetable or something to it. And at the beginning, when I added these, and I felt like, oh, okay, so but I do feel the difference though.
Yeah.
Like, my digestive system. I had IBS, and I had
you had IBS too.
and leaky gut. They could see in the MRI, the leaky gut is all the stuff that came out
Uh-huh.
of in a small intestine. But they
Uh-huh.
have the name, I think something like, but it's protein loss. They said is they call protein loss of protein entro. Oh no, enteropathy.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So you had IBS too. So did that change pretty quickly with when you
Yes.
just sort of eliminated all those vegetables and grain and nuts and seeds, and you just ate meat?
Yes.
So did that change quickly or?
Yeah, I would say relatively quickly, because like before that I had it very bad. It was like the gas pain, the pain in the stomach after eating, and at times all day. And
Was there blood in the stool?
no, just the like constipation and runs kind of, yeah, alternate. And yeah, it was very bad.
And what's your digestion like
Uh, pretty good, pretty good. And when I started eating vegetable, is not like before, where it's so strange. At that time, I could not even digest like lettuce.
Yeah.
It's you eat it, you chew it, it looks like that. I'm sorry, it came out looking like the same.
Yeah.
So at times I was like, at the time I was like, how could this happen? That means it's not doing anything in there. It just kind of passed through. Yeah, it's definitely much better now. I don't have a constant pain.
Can I ask you, when you are selecting a vegetable, what are you selecting now?
It's very difficult between low lectins or low oxalate, and I tend to go for low lectins and still take some, will eat some oxalates, because I think lectins are really the problem for me.
Yeah, you're not eating nuts and seeds, I hope.
Yeah, no, no more.
So you're eating a vegetable because you like it, because it's fun or enjoyable, or what's your motivation?
Yes, there's that too, that I used to love, I used to love it. So and also trying to add back so that my body can, to see if my body can digest, and if I would get used to it somehow. But then I found myself that when I had vegetable, I had no desire to have it at all now, at all. Like at the beginning, when I started adding, maybe after 1 year, I started adding back some, and some, when I said some, is very little.
Like cabbage or something?
Yes, yeah, cabbage I go for, yeah.
So these sort of goiterogenic vegetables. I mean, vegetables are just such potent chemists.
Yeah. And one thing I want to mention also is that I got my DNA tested, right? And my DNA said that I should eat vegetables and fruits.
Yeah.
And that got me worried at the beginning when I started this whole, I was like, wow, so if I'm eating all meat, I mean, is that really bad for my DNA? And that, no, not at all. You should see me 2 years ago. No.
Well, according to the food pyramid, we all should be eating just vegetables and fruit.
Exactly. That's what I ate my whole life. I grew up, basically on vegetable and fruits.
Well, it sounds like your fat has changed so much, because you're now just eating saturated fat, or pretty much just saturated fat with beef.
Yes.
As before, you were eating grain and beans and nuts and seeds, and so you're eating all
vegetable oil.
and oil. So you're eating polyunsaturated fats, which
Yes.
is so different in our bodies. I'm so glad that you've found your way to this elimination diet of carnivore, and it sounds like you're really strengthening yourself and getting yourself, straight away down the path to health. And so you've had so many improvements. It's so great to hear.
Thank you.
Great to hear.
Thank
You for sharing that.
You're welcome.
And I wish you all the best and to continue on. It's
Yes.
great. And you'll go on and be getting these annual MRIs.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so that would be really interesting to watch the pituitary and
Yes. Yeah.
keep track on that.
Yes, definitely.
Well, I want to thank you again, Cindy. It's really interesting to
Thank
hear.
you. Thank you. Yes.
Please take care.
Thank you. You too.
Join Revero.health for a 30-day free trial to get access to live Q&A with VIP guests, social community meetings, member discounts, low-carb healthcare providers list, forum, workouts, monthly challenges, early access to podcasts, recipes, carnivore diet guide, fasting guide, shred guide, and much more.